Есть! Братан!
All right, just so you know, I'm not all talk. This is the latest addition to the video studio. Now you can see why I'm not married. Look over here, that's from our garden. And then of course this is the TV setup. And then right here, that's an APC power supply. We're going to talk about all this stuff on the hike today. You can see I have 4 USB drives there for backup. And I won't turn around and show you the mess behind me. Let's get to the video. Is it just me, or are all these cows eyeballing me? What do you think? Look at the one. They got their eyeballs on me. He's got his eyeballs on me. They got their eyeballs on me. That's wild, isn't it? Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. June 18th, 2026. Let's get into it. Couldn't get out in the forest today. We had some thunderstorms roll through, so getting a late start on the video. Hey, wasn't that a great video up front? The guy, I hope you noticed, maybe you might want to rewind it. He actually had flip-flops on, or sandals. I guess they were sandals. You know, I mean, that takes guts. No armor, no nothing. Went up there and just took that drone out. I thought that was a run cool video. That's why I put it up front for you. Before we get into the video, you know, I put that clip in between showing you the video studio, latest edition. What we did was, well, first I had to buy that table. And we'll tell you what, you know, that was one excellent table. I hope you saw the bottom of it. Those were caster wheels. Now, in the past, I've bought furniture. I like all furniture on wheels. Just you know, now that I'm not married, I don't have to worry about it. I mean, as much as possible. When I'm talking about wheels, I'm talking about, you know, tables that I need to roll out of the way so I can vacuum and stuff like that. And so the whole setup is on wheels, and so I can kind of move it out if I ever need to vacuum or get behind it, you know, to plug stuff in. I can move it out. Sorry about the car noise, can't help it. No way I could get into the forest on what was this late and probably pretty wet. I noticed it rained here. It didn't rain at my house. So I tell you what, I'm probably gonna have to turn around. Then I no see them, I see them flying around. Last time I did this hike, man, I got attacked big time. But let's get on to that setup. Now, if you notice, the laser printer was on top, and that's the new Brother laser printer. Now, that was manufactured in Vietnam in March of 2026. The design work on it, from what I understand, was done in 2025. Okay. Now, first order of business was putting that table together. It took me about half a day, maybe longer, maybe a whole day. I don't know. I was just kept at it. I was so tired when I finished. And I don't know if you noticed, I reversed the 2 sides of the table to give it more support, because it, you know, it comes forward. Anyway, I won't get into all the details about putting the stupid table together, but that's you get what you pay for. That was about $150, and I'm going to tell you, I love the setup. You know, I like the fact that I could put the toner cartridges right there next to the printers. You couldn't see the inkjet printer was on the bottom. That's an old Epson inkjet printer, 5090, I think it was. And that's my color printer. Like I said, the laser printer. But let's talk about the Brother setup and everything else. The first thing was the directions sucked, as usual. I don't even know who does the directions for these big corporations. But man, they need to hire some people. Sorry, pickup truck going by, typical for Florida. I don't know what they're going to do here in about 4 weeks when gas prices skyrocket, or so I'm hearing anyway. But anyway, getting back to the printer. So the first challenge I had was getting inkjet the laser jet cartridge in there. By the way, in the directions, it's kind of scary. It says if you get any of the toner on your hands, be sure and wash them thoroughly, and and that stuff is toxic, and you might want to see a doctor. I mean, it was it was like, God dang, I never knew that a laser printer was so toxic. But anyway, I couldn't figure out. I kept looking at the directions, and the toner cartridge came in from the side. Well, what you had to do, you had to pull the thing down and then flip another thing down, and then you have to push the cartridge, and it did say push the cartridge in hard, because until you hear it click, and then I finally got it in there. But I mean, why couldn't they just put that in the directions? Here's your 5-step process for putting the toner cartridge in. Hello? Oh my God. Maybe I should I should do YouTube videos about that maybe someday. The next thing I ran into was you had to download all the drivers. Of course, anytime you have a new piece of hardware, you have to go up to the website, download all the drivers and the software and everything else. Well, they came with this tool called Easy Setup. And I should have known better, because I've run into this stuff before, and I thought, well, what's the harm? Let's run this Easy Setup thing. Maybe it'll take care of the drivers and the firmware, because it did say, firmware and everything else. Software, because usually they can install some software on your computer. Let's let the cars go by. And so I ran it. And I was thinking, man, this is excellent, man. And then what surprised me was, okay, if that printer was manufactured in March of 2026, I couldn't believe it, but it did have to update the firmware on the printer. That shocked me, because I thought something, look at it, that's just March, June, and the firmware was out of date in 2 months. I mean, it's good. Maybe they're making steady releases of the firmware, but usually firmware doesn't come out that quick. So anyway, it finished up. I thought, oh man, let's see if I could print something. So I get on there, and I'm playing with it, and I don't know about you, but I use Alt-Tab all the time to scroll between my applications, because I'm still using the laptop. Obviously, I'm still building out the video studio, as you could see in the beginning of the video. So I noticed all these processes that were running in the background. I'm like, what the hell is this? What the hell is that? And in fact, it would toggle onto those processes. I'm like, I don't want this running. When I want to use the printer, I'll use the printer. Well, it turns out that Easy Setup, not only did it install bloatware, it installed its update tool. It was running in the background. The bloatware was running in the background. 2 other processes were running in the background. One was running in the foreground. The system tray was full of brother utilities and stupid shit that I don't care about. I mean, it invaded my computer. I was like, God dang, brother. I mean, Grok recommended that printer, but man, I'm not sure how you would go about doing it without running that Easy Setup. I mean, you could just do the firmware update by itself. It was a separate download. Maybe do the drivers by themselves and just leave it at that. I mean, maybe it's too late for me now. I do have one other Windows computer that I might try it on, and then of course, let's wait for these cars to go by. The brother did have Linux drivers, which is really good. I mean, their support for Linux looks pretty damn outstanding, which is exactly what Grok recommended that printer for. So anyway, enough on the video studio. We're still making progress, as you can see. By the way, so that was literally, just to get everything in there, that was a 3-day project. Because I had to rearrange the office where the video studio server, Linux server is located. I had to move that inkjet printer. Hold on. A couple more pickup trucks. Gotta love Florida. Everybody here has a pickup truck. And some of them don't have exhaust systems. They're louder than a motorcycle. So yeah, I mean, life is always a progression. And then when I moved everything out of the way, I had to vacuum the floor. it was just one thing after another. I said, man, I'm never going to get this done. And then finally, I guess about 4 o'clock in the morning, this morning, my first printout right here came off of that LaserJet printer. I've never been so proud in my life. All right, let's get into the video. Hit that like button and subscribe. To avoid Dodge censorship, watch my videos on BitChute and Rumble at the Burn channels. And I'm now up at the Burn Report. We got another truck going by. The Burn Report on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to be shutting down the Florida Man News Network eventually. I'm hardly ever posting there unless it's just like a short song or something. All right, let's talk about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve for just 1 second. The Trump came out with a statement. I tell you what, I love Trump. He says the quiet part out loud. I mean, he's a liar. Don't get me wrong. But damn, sometimes he drops a truth bomb. He said, well, what did you want me to do? Because the memorandum, and we're going to hit that, the Memorandum of Understanding. Oh my God. What the fuck is a Memorandum of Understanding?
On the Republican side, Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie, one of the most prominent Republican critics of U.S. policy toward Israel, lost his re-election bid because he opposed Trump's decision to wage war.
I think the most candid answer came from the Secretary of State, who told the press that Israel forced our hand and dragged us into this war.
But for every Thomas Massie, there's a Senator Tom Cotton who wants to expand intelligence sharing between the U.S. and Israel, a proposal that has angered some voters. The U.S. already provides $3.8 billion in military aid to Israel every year. The US-Iran agreement might go beyond ending the war. It is exposing the growing strains in the American-Israeli relationship. Rosalind Jordan, Al Jazeera, Washington.
I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? I mean, and if he signs it, it don't mean diddly squat. Who cares? You got, please, for the love of God, put a gun in Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, and Ted Cruz's hands and send them to Israel to fight for the IDF. I mean, please, God. That's all they talk about is Israel, 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 and how Trump's making a mistake, and we need to continue the war with Iran. Do you realize we're going to create a global depression if we continue the war with Iran? And these idiots want that. Send them over to fight for the IDF. Kick them out of the United States. They obviously don't like the United States. This isn't in our best interest. Send them over to Israel. They'll be happy. Let them fight for Israel. I don't care. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. But anyway, so Trump said the quiet part out loud. He said, in 4 weeks, we're going to be empty. That means gas prices are going to skyrocket, according to the experts. Now, I've heard predictions from $120 to $200 a barrel. I guess we'll see. 120 obviously being on the low side. The next big topic I wanted to get into was if you watch my videos, about 2 or 3 videos back, maybe 4, I don't know, I told you that a guy called in to Todd Starnes and said that he had a friend who worked for the division of the government that sends out the death letters to the soldiers' families to let them know that their loved ones have passed away in the war with Iran. And he said that it was told to him, it was 800 letters, okay? I got some pushback on that. Everybody was like, oh man, there's only 13 people dead. That's all that's been reported. I understand, number one, it's a classified number. So we have no idea, okay? And number two, or you could call that hearsay, but I tell you what, unless I'm a bad judge of character, and I guess I am, I voted for, I got Trump in there, but look at what your choice was, Kamala Harris or Trump. Even though Trump's been terrible, Kamala Harris, I think, would have been a lot worse. So, but, and I do believe she would have started a war with Iran also. The only thing is she might not have the understanding to get out. So then the other thing that Trump said that blew me away was he said, Israel doesn't have to, because everybody's been saying, Why do you think the Israelis are exterminating the Lebanese? You know, they're bombing Beirut, blowing up apartment buildings. And then Trump said the quiet part out loud. You don't have to take down an entire apartment building to get one Hezbollah operative. You know, you're killing, 200, 300 people to get one guy. That's the Israeli war machine at work. And that was why Trump went into this memorandum of understanding, because Iran was locked and loaded, and they were going to blow the shit out of Israel. And Israel at that point, because I think the damage they would have caused would have been severe, Israel may have launched a nuke. So it could be that Trump, by somewhat just saying that he's not going to, launch, he's going to sign it, he may have averted a nuclear war. So if you want to criticize Trump for not continuing the war, you go right ahead. I don't. I think it was brilliant. However, let me just tell you, on the flip side, Russia has notified Iran that they have intelligence that this is all just a smokescreen by the Trump administration to launch an invasion into Iran. And that came out in the Iranian news, in their newspapers. So Iran doesn't, think this deal is legit, number one. And number two, someone pointed out that once Trump signs the Memorandum of Understanding, the first point in that is that Lebanon is part of the bargain, that Israel has to quit bombing Lebanon and get the hell out. And if they don't, Iran's going to launch on Israel. And so they're waiting for that thing to get signed. So I'm expecting Iran to launch on Israel over the weekend. I guess we'll find out. Predictions tend to be wrong 90% of the time, just to warn you, but that's the scuttlebutt. So I don't know why the Russians are warning the Iranians that this is all a smokescreen to go in. We got a motorcycle, hold on. Not too loud. See how those trucks are louder than the motorcycle? All right, so where was I? We were talking about Lebanon. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so the first point in there is that Iran will be, they have to protect Lebanon. They've taken, just like Russia and North Korea have signed a pact that if either one of them is attacked, the other will come to their aid. Which, by the way, we don't have that with Israel. Do you know that? Everybody thinks, oh, Israel's your greatest ally. Israel don't give a shit about the United States. We don't even have, you think they're going to come running over here to help us if we get attacked in the United States? Oh, hell no. Hell no. Tired of my tax money going to Israel instead of helping Americans. That's just me. So anyway, but getting back to that 800 number of letters that have gone out to the troops, and people giving me a hard time about that, I decided to put together my own video. The first, I've got the graphic up right now. This is the targets that Iran struck at the 5th Fleet NSA Bahrain base. Okay? I want you to look at all those strikes. Now, 13 people dead. Or was it 800? You tell me, are you looking at it right now? Okay, let's get to the next graphic. Now you can always rewind and look at these again. This is Camp Buring. These are the strikes on Camp Buring. I believe that's in Kuwait. All right, you looking at it? Look at all those strikes. 13 people dead. 13 people dead. You don't think that all those missiles hitting the ground didn't do something? More than 13 dead? I've been on these bases. There's people everywhere on these bases. You get a missile strike, somebody's going to get killed. Just look at the number of missile strikes we got so far. All right, let's get the next graphic up for you to look at. This is the Al Salem, Kuwait strikes. You getting a good look at it? Maybe let's talk about things while you're looking at that graphic. Look at that number of strikes. Boy, no SEAMs today. That's good. And I tell you what, we're gonna have a pretty sunset here shortly. You still looking at that graphic? 13 dead. Count the number of strikes on that graphic. 13 dead. All right, so I went back and I found a video This is a video of the missiles being launched. Now I want you to look at the size of these flipping missiles and think of the warheads they were packing when they hit the ground. You're just seeing the strikes. That doesn't matter. Let's get that video right now. Woo! Pretty impressive, huh? Kind of looked like the Apollo 13 mission taking off. Yeah, no kidding. Let's keep going. 13 dead. That's kind of like, I remember that song, you got to check it out on YouTube. 85 million votes my ass. 85 million votes my ass. 13 dead my ass. 13 dead my ass. Okay, let's get the next graphic up. This is the Al Dhafra UAE strikes. Look at that. Look at that. Boy, we got a bulldozer over here. I'm just leaving it up, man. I'm just talking shit while you look at it. Oh man, we got some pretty clouds. We'll have to get them on the video. Yeah, look at the number of strikes. Yeah, 13 dead. I don't even remember how many casualties, you know. And that's another thing. We don't know the extent of, you know, even the casualties that have been reported. What's the extent of their injuries? Are they crippled for life? Were their legs blown off? Are they blind? Do they have arms left? We don't know. Just trying to make it graphic for you. You still looking at that graphic? 13 dead my ass. Okay, let's get Bahrain and Kuwait destruction. Okay, we got that graphic up. Let's hit back on the video studio. I want you to look at that graphic. Look at the number of strikes, okay? You looking at it? So get back to the video studio. I found there's a guy on YouTube, can't remember. He was saying that you had to set up, that there's something called KRAM. KRAM, I've never heard of it, and that Microsoft takes that over. And so even installing a Linux operating system, you still can't do it because Microsoft has invaded the newer laptops. Just something to talk about. You still looking at that graphic? 13 dead my ass. 13 dead my ass. Let's get the next one up. This is the Al Ali Salem Kuwait 1000 ASR radar that was destroyed. Look at that thing. Nothing left. From my understanding, we don't have any radars left in the Middle East. The amount of damage, last I heard, the war has cost us $100 billion so far, and that's a low estimate. Imagine what we could have done for the American people with $100 billion. You still looking at that graphic? You still looking at it? A war of choice, a war we didn't even have to. And look at the terms of the, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that stupid. You still looking at the graphic? All right, I've tortured you enough with the graphics. Let's get to this memorandum of understanding for just 1 second. What the bleep is a memorandum of understanding? Well, it's not a treaty. And from what I understand, it's just saying, hey, we're gonna look at this memorandum of understanding for the next 60 days and try to come up with some sort of agreement. Well, there ain't no agreement, number one, that the Iranians are gonna believe. You know, we were negotiating with them twice and tried to, well, one time we did kill the negotiators, the second time we missed, you know. So, I mean, now Pakistan says this time they're gonna protect the Iranian negotiators, but you know, there's no negotiations going on. You know, you say, well, there's memorandum of understanding, that's negotiation. That ain't no negotiation. It ain't a treaty until 2/3 of the Congress approves it, and they're not gonna approve it. Everybody in Congress is in Israel's back pocket. They want war, baby. The Democrats. Remember the Democrats, they were talking about, you know, oh, this war of choice by Trump was a bad idea. So now they're coming out and saying just the opposite. This is why Democrat voters are so freaking stupid. Now they're coming out and they're saying, well, this memorandum of understanding is a capitulation to Iran. We need to go back to war. You see how they flip-flopped? Oh yeah, when it was in their political favor to oppose the war, they opposed it. Then they flip-flap right back and they say, oh, you know, we shouldn't stop the war. Unbelievable, because they're owned by Israel, even more so than the Republicans. Oh my God. So this is an old video. Just wanted to show you. Let's get on the opposite side. I showed you the rockets taking off. Let's get the rockets landing. This is the Bahraini people welcome the Iranian aircraft targeting the U.S. 5th Fleet base in the country. And let's get that video now. Woohoo! Yeah, 13 dead my ass. 13 dead my ass. All right, let's keep going. This is another old video that I found. Iran has launched retaliatory strikes on targets in Bahrain and Kuwait, describing the attacks as a response to recent U.S. military actions. Tehran warns that further aggression will be met with a stronger and more decisive response. Obviously, this is old news, but like I said, I'm just going back, trying to give you the context. Explosions were reported near facilities hosting U.S. forces in both countries. Let's watch that video now. Woohoo! 13 dead my ass. Oh boy, another pickup truck. Boy, that guy was going fast too, pulling a trailer. Holy shit. Sometimes the cops do sit in here, so you're taking a big risk going through here. The speed limit here is 50. So anyway, I guess that guy didn't care. So this is another post. Iran brilliantly uses Qasim Island as an unsinkable aircraft carrier. Permanently positioned deadly cruise missiles right at the throat of global shipping lanes.
But Iran military response was explicitly framed as an act of retaliation. According to Iran, the counterattack was a response when U.S. strike two strategic IRGC strongholds, Qasem Island, the heavily fortified choke point managing maritime traffic, and Goruk, a critical coastal staging ground for electronic warfare and drone operations. But what makes Qasem Island such a high priority target in this theater? The answer lies in its geography. As the largest island in the Persian Gulf, it acts as an unsinkable aircraft carrier, allowing the IRGC to position coastal defense cruise missiles and radar arrays right at the throat of global shipping lanes.
All right, this is we're going to change the topic here. Just 1 second. I may do a sit-down portion of the video. I have a bunch of X posts. I want to talk about X for just 1 second. You got to be so careful. I don't understand. The community notes thing, it works a little bit, but it's not picking up the stuff. I keep getting, there's this one channel called Iran News, and they put out a post every now and then. Iran has launched on Israel. 300 missiles are in the air. And then at first I'm thinking, God dang, that's terrible. I was kind of believing those posts, but then when I shift around, nobody else is reporting on it. And believe me, you got people like, well, the organization, you got to believe, is Mario in the Fall. But you got Mario in the Fall, Colonel McGregor, Daniel Davis. There's a lot of people that got their thumb. Larry Johnson, Ray McGovern, they got their thumb on everything. And if they're completely silent, and you got this questionable channel called Iran News reporting that missiles have launched, guess what? It's a lie. Take that freaking channel down, Elon Musk. Maybe I'll CC him in this video, although he'll never get to watch this portion. That's a busy dude. He ain't going to watch one of my videos. All right, so Che Bowles, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries on earth. The former congresswoman slammed Washington's unconditional funding of the Kiev regime during the period appearance on the Rosita 24 channel. Before we get to the video, let's talk about the Ukraine war for just 1 second. Now, if you didn't know, Ukraine just launched one of the largest attacks on Moscow, probably for the whole war. The thing I don't understand is, I mean, I understand, Great Britain and Germany and France and, the NATO countries are giving drones to Ukraine, but I can't believe they're able to get so many in there. It was like 300 drones or something like that, And how can Russia, with all their intelligence and their satellite surveillance, not know where those, although they have done a lot of damage, I forgot to tell you, to Odessa recently. That's where a lot of these things were getting shipped in. And so Russia has been hitting a lot of targets in Odessa. So, people have been reporting that has really cut the logistics to Ukraine, but it doesn't seem to affect the number of drones. I don't get it. And I don't see how Ukraine, I got a post, maybe we'll read it when I get back, because the guy, he's a Russian, he claims that there's 2 million dead Ukrainians. And then I saw another video where there was a reporter, I don't know if it was a Ukrainian officer, and they were walking through a graveyard, and they said that there's like 34 like it, and all you could see was grave markers for as far as the eye could see. I'm not putting it in this video. It's too depressing. Yeah, we already did that. Okay, well, I'll look at the news, see if we can come up with anything else I wanted to report on Russia real quick. Well, other than that, they're stepping things up, I believe. I saw a report that the bombers were taken off for a big strike on Ukraine in retaliation for what they did. And I reported in the last video, but I'll report it again. If you didn't know, they're striking civilian targets big time. They blew up a bus with a bunch of kids on it. I think killed about 8 of the kids. There was like a soccer team or something like that. And injured a bunch of them. They had to go to the hospital. And then I saw another video where they hit a truck. The guy was, just a tractor trailer going down the highway. And they came in from the front. Obviously, they killed the driver. And you saw the explosion. So that's 2 videos that I've seen of Ukrainian drones killing civilians. And then, of course, I did see the video that Trump was talking about of the apartment building that went down. I won't put it in this video. So let's get the final check out of the way. I am on X at that cybersecurity guy, watching the world burn. That's the subcategory. And then, of course, Rumble at the Burn channel and BitChute at the Burn channel. The Burn Report on YouTube. That's pretty much all. And, of course, I'm at that cybersec guy. At that cybersec guy on X. Peace out, stay free, stay frosty, and I'm sure we'll think of something else to put on the video. Like I said, we're probably going to sit down when I get home, and we'll just do a couple readings of recent posts, because it's too difficult to hold the phone and report on it at the same time. A piece of paper is a lot easier. All right.
Today makes 39 times that he has said something like that.
We have major points of agreement. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal.
Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure. Well, they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal.
They want to make a deal so badly. I do see a deal in Iran. We were very close to a deal.
I think it's close to over, yeah. I view it as very close to over.
It's looking very good that we're going to make a deal with Iran, and it's going to be a good deal. This process should go very quickly. We're going to end that war very quickly. They want to make a deal so badly. We think we're close to a deal, and that's okay. We're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal.
Dude, we won the war! The war is over! Peace deal!
Yeah.
You were saying this war was stupid the whole time, but you can suck it, because we won!
Oh, you think we won?
Yes, you Jew-hating numbskull!
Well, how'd we win?
We have a peace deal, bitch!
So, what did we win?
We won, like, The victory. Trump got us across the goal line. Do you know the terms of the peace deal? Yeah, like the Strait of Alex Hormozy. That's open again. Did you know that was open before the war started? So we got that open again. That's a big W right there. And did you know that part of the peace deal is Iran can start charging a toll for ships to go through now? They were probably doing that before the war. No, they weren't. And this new toll revenue is estimated to generate $10 billion a year for them. Who cares? Nobody cares. Well, whatever made you want to start the war with Iran, now they'll have an additional $10 billion a year to fund that. Dude, whatever. It's totally worth it for us to walk away the winners, because with this peace deal, Iran can't have nukes. Do you know they didn't have nukes before the war either? Nope. That's why we went to war. And them not being able to have nukes anymore, that makes the whole war worth it, just for that. The director of national intelligence reported that all of the intel agencies said Iran didn't have nukes. So yeah, now they don't have nukes for real. We won! So according to you, them not having nukes like they didn't have before the war, and the strait that was open before the war that only closed because of the war being open again constitutes us winning? Is that what you're saying? It's winning big time. Full circle victory. Hey, do you remember that loser Obama and how he got bitch slapped around by Iran with loser deals? Like, he even unfroze $1.7 billion of Iranian funds for them to just have. Trump was very critical of that. Do you know Trump is unfreezing $24 billion of Iranian funds for them to have? I think these are different circumstances. And, well, with inflation and all, it's hard to compare if 24 billion is worth more or less than 1.7 billion. Do you know how much money we've agreed to pay Iran for war damages? I don't know, like $700, $800, $300 billion. Oh yeah, I heard that, but it's not that bad. It's not what you think. Iran only gets that money if they meet their obligations of the peace deal. Well, yeah, of course. If they didn't, there wouldn't be a peace deal. So it's not like we're just giving Iran $300 billion. We're only giving it to them if they do what they say they're going to do. Exactly. So it's not what you think. No, that's my exact understanding. Hey, you don't think that's winning? Well, I don't understand how your mind works. I mean, look, Trump was in a tough place. There was a war going on. Well, a war that he started. A war was going on for whatever reason, and to bring about peace, he had to make some minor concessions. I mean, peace is all he wanted in the first place. And now we have a peace deal. And I'm sorry that you can't see it, but Iran lost and we won. But just to make sure I'm understanding you clearly, the U.S. gives up $24 billion of funds to Iran. The U.S. pays Iran $300 billion in war damages, and our military cost to create those damages was $29 billion. The Strait of Hormuz is open. Still, only now Iran charges tolls, generating $10 billion a year for them. And Iran can't have nukes. So that's the same as before the war. So we lose $354 billion and American lives. Iran gains $324 billion, and they charge a toll on the strait. So annualized over 5 years, that's an additional $50 billion. So conservatively, Iran gains $374 billion and literally doesn't have to change anything. And this is what winning looks like to you? Yes. Major victory, if you ask me. Just imagine you have a neighbor who's kind of a dick, treats you bad. Oh, I have that neighbor. And you sign a deal with him where you pay him $300,000 to not change anything he does. And it costs you $29,000 in lawyer fees to draw up the paperwork on this winning deal. So the deal costs you $329,000, and the neighbor gets $300,000 of your money, and he doesn't have to change anything, but he can kind of use that money against you if he wants. Do you think that'd be a winning deal for you? I have that exact deal with someone. Why? Because it's a winning deal. What? Who told you that? Him. So, he told me it was a winning deal and I couldn't pass it up. God wanted him in this deal. God wanted it. Enjoy winning the way you are. You deserve this. Thanks, man. So it sounds like you're admitting you're wrong and this peace deal is a win. Do you want in on this deal?
Well, I said we get a nice sunset, but unfortunately it's behind the clouds there. So, let's keep going. I'll just show you the field. All this farmland is being built into houses. So pretty much a lot of our farmland in Florida has disappeared for development. Now maybe if we do have a recession or a depression, maybe that trend will reverse and we can get some more farmland. You can kind of look over here. That was the bulldozer that I talked about in the video, but I'm going to just keep it this way right here. Look at the clouds though. Isn't that pretty with the sun hitting them from behind? Anyway, it's funny, I was talking about this. It's flying all over X at the moment. Multiple sources that I kind of trust say that the MOU is dead. Israel is back fighting Hezbollah in Lebanon. One report said that Iran has launched missiles at Israel. Unverified. That's only one source that had reported on that. But multiple sources have reported that war is back on the menu, boys. Woohoo! All right. Boy, I tell you, Israel's like a mad dog, aren't they? They get that bone between their teeth and they just won't let go. No matter what. I don't care. Until every one of them is dead, they'll fight. It'd be like in that Monty Python movie. What do you mean if I have no arms and no legs? I can still continue to fight. I can still continue to fight. Oh my God. Anyway, I wanted to get back on that printer for just 1 second. There's another problem I ran into. Was I didn't show you, but I've never seen a printer that had no digital display. So, because obviously it's way out of my office, I have to use Wi-Fi, or I had to use Wi-Fi to set up that printer. Now, there was nothing in the damn directions about how to do this. I had to figure it out on my own. But they had this one little display box about that big. And and they did have a Wi-Fi button on the printer. So when you press the Wi-Fi, it brings up a little menu and says, enter network. And then you hit the OK key. And so for every letter in my password for my secure Wi-Fi network, you had to scroll through every single number and every single letter of the alphabet for each letter. I'm going to tell you, it took forever. My password's about 16 characters long. And so, it'd start with the numbers, and I have very few numbers in my password. And then, of course, you got to have capital letters, and then it would go through all the lowercase letters, and then it would go through all the uppercase letters, and you had to do that for every single letter of the password. And then when I was all said and done, I couldn't figure out how to say, all right, connect. Okay, I just hit the OK button, I think. I don't even remember how I did it. And I said, well, damn, I don't know if that worked or not. There was nothing on the screen that said connected or anything like that. I mean, this is the most screwed up interface I've ever seen for getting connected to Wi-Fi. So the only thing I knew how to do was I logged into my Netgear router and I looked down and it had a generic name for the printer. Let's get back and look at that sunset. And I said, well, is that the printer? I said, well, it's got to be. There's nothing else that it could be. So it was connected to my network. And then, of course, I knew it when I ran that easy setup and everything. I found the printer and went out and updated everything. By the way, did all of that over Wi-Fi, which was good. Okay, I'm going to keep watching the news. I mean, this could be a breaking video. Of course, it'll be old news by the time I get it up on, get it rendered and everything, because there's going to be a lot of editing I got to do to make this video. But wow, isn't it amazing that I'm sitting here reporting on it? What the heck is a memorandum of understanding? And it looks like I didn't expect it to last long anyway. But question is, are we going to enter the war? Of course, we're going to continue to give Israel bombs and everything. I don't know how much we got left in our arsenal. That's another thing. Trump just came out. You think that, nobody's talking about the Ukraine war. Trump just asked the military-industrial complex to speed up work so that we can give more bombs to Ukraine. Because he was at that G7 conference. I guess he's making a promise to the Europeans that we're going to try to get more weapons into Ukraine from the United States. So there goes more of our tax money. You gotta love it. Yeah, let's kill another million Ukrainians. They're just cannon fodder to blunt against Russia. They're not real people. Kind of like Amalek over in Israel. Palestinians aren't real people. They're just animals to be slaughtered, just like the Arabs. That's the way Israel Zionists feel about the Arabs. They're just animals. They're Amalek. All right. Sorry, getting depressed here.
I said, look, Netanyahu hates you. You know that. They don't like each other at all. The people pushing you toward this would include Rupert Murdoch, who despises you. Trump knows that, of course. Mark Thiessen has always hated you. Ben Shapiro, they hate you. Mark Levin hates you, has always hated you.
Yes.
The people pushing you to, I said this right to his face, the people pushing you to do this want to destroy you. And they're doing it on behalf of Israel, whose goals include getting the United States out of the Middle East. They don't want the U.S. in the Gulf because it strengthens the Gulf
They don't like our
state.
friendships there.
They don't like our friendships there at all because Qatar and UAE and Saudi, but also Bahrain, Oman, and Kuwait, but mainly those three countries are a massive rival to regional hegemony. You can't run the Middle East with strong Gulf states. And so they want the U.S. out. Israel wants the U.S. out of the Middle East, and they want to degrade those Gulf states. And I said that right to his face. And he said, yeah, I know.
Right when the war started, Trump's not denied this. Tucker Carlson told me, and then later told the New York Times, and it's true. He goes, Mr. President, this is not going to end quickly. This is going to be a disaster. It had been going on for about 2 weeks. Last time they talked, he said, you're destroying your legacy. Netanyahu absolutely hates your guts. You've got to stop this right now. This is going to destroy the economy at best, nuclear war at worst. And Trump said, everything always goes the way I want. Just trust me, it's going to work out. And Tucker said, I am just done with you. This is what you do. You're destroying yourself and all our futures. And Tucker's now told the story publicly. I mean, I was out in Florida with him. Time before last, I was on a show. Before that was Maine, or after that Maine last time. And he's having to go take these phone calls from the president and everybody else. I stayed with him a couple of days. We're at dinner, lunch, you name it. And he's we had 5-hour dinners and stuff. And he's having to go in and oh, that's the president. Oh, God, Netanyahu's threatening me. Don't tell anybody that yet. My God, this is insane. Trump hates him, but God, he really loves Israel, and I totally understand. And Tucker does not dislike Israel, by the way. He's I wish they just stopped doing this, And that was a year and a half ago. You now see where we are, Disasterville. I told you a year and a half ago, because it was happening then, and it was repeated a few months ago last time Tucker talked to Trump. He said, don't you know, Netanyahu and all these neocons are never Trumpers. They hate your guts, bro. They're setting you up in this war. America's as big a target as Iran is. They want to kill our economy. And BlackRock's really happy about this now. They are. So just to get it on record, here's Tucker.
I said, look, Netanyahu hates you. You know that. They don't like each other at all. The people pushing you toward this would include Rupert Murdoch, who despises you. Trump knows that, of course. Mark Thiessen has always hated you. Ben Shapiro, they hate you. Mark Levin hates you, has always hated you.
Yes.
The people pushing you to, I said this right to his face, the people pushing you to do this want to destroy you. And they're doing it on behalf of Israel, whose goals include getting the United States out of the Middle East. They don't want the U.S. in the Gulf because it strengthens the Gulf state.
They don't like our friendships there.
They don't like our friendships there at all because Qatar and UAE and Saudi, but also Bahrain, Oman, and Kuwait, but mainly those three countries are a massive rival to regional hegemony. You can't run the Middle East with strong Gulf states. And so they want the U.S. out. Israel wants the U.S. out of the Middle East, and they want to degrade those Gulf states. And I said that right to his face. And he said, yeah, I know.
That's the Greater Israel Project. Now, just 6 months ago, if you talked about the Greater Israel Project that's on their flags and their banners and their uniforms and the high-level members of the Knesset talk about, and that, oh, Israel wants Southern Lebanon next, which they now have taken, they're saying they're keeping much of it, the ADL would come out and say you're an anti-Semite. And that's why that has no power anymore. Because you've called everybody Hitler, and I'll assure you, I'm not for Hitler. Tucker Carlson doesn't secretly wear swastika underwear. I mean, I've had long discussions with Tucker. He's just like, God, they're attacking me, demonizing me, but I have to be anti-war. I pledged to be. I was conned by these people for decades and realized I was wrong. And this is just all a big lie. And it's all about, empire. And so I'm just going to have to fight this. That was a year and a half ago. And you see where he is now. And I commend him and I honor that. And I remember like 14, 15 years ago, we get an email and then and it's Tucker Carlson's assistant. Hey, Tucker wants to talk to Alex Jones. So I call him up and he goes, hey, I want to apologize. I just think you're a horrible person. He said things like, I'm evil. And he said, I just didn't believe they'd blow up Building 7. I didn't believe 9/11 was an inside job. And he goes, I've now seen the videos. My kids have shown them to me and they're all grown up now and work for the White House, you name it. Or at least Buckley did for a while. And he said, I want to come to town. I'm coming to town. I want to come on your show. And I want to apologize to you. I said, oh, okay. And he comes and says, yeah, I was lied to about all this. Now I've had an awakening and I'm going to change. And I'm never going to support any of these wars again. Any wars that are offensive. So Tucker's the real deal, folks. And now they're calling him a Qatari agent. They're calling for his arrest. Laura Loomer and others are. And that means my arrest, your arrest, all of our arrest. And it's because we told Trump the truth.
His name? This is an emergency transmission from FEMA Region 6 in occupied North America.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time has come to choose sides. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. Share the links now at alexjoneslive.com.
Alex Jones is back. The InfoWar continues at alexjoneslive.com. And you can follow us on X at @RealAlexJones and on Rumble at The Alex Jones Show Live. Plus, you can download the app, alexjonesapp.com. So check it out now and let the deep state globalists know we will never be silenced.
Oh, I just thought this was cute. Look at the horns on that guy. Man, I tell you, can you imagine something like that? Because he could probably come right through that wire if he wanted to. There are eyeballing me. Did you ever do cow tipping as a kid? I don't know. We were pretty evil kids, man. We would go in and they sleep standing up and you could just knock them over. Why would you do such a thing? That's pure evil, man. Like I said, I was a juvenile delinquent. One of these days, maybe I'll ask Rock when I get home. These birds have kind of a symbiotic relationship with the cows, because they're always around them. I don't know what it is, why they kind of hang out together. There must be something, there's some benefit for both of them, because the cows obviously leave the birds alone. And why in the world do birds follow the cows everywhere? Boy, look at them. Well, they're still eyeballing me. All right, that's something else I wanted to add to the video. Oh yeah, nothing new on the war restarting. That could have been fake news. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, you want to jump out ahead, but there's so many. It's so hard to sift through all of the noise to get to the real news, I mean, my God, if you listen to mainstream media, what was it? I was coming in here and there was a news report by Fox and they were talking about how the jab eliminated the pandemic. That's a bunch of malarkey. Everybody was still getting sick after they got the jab. What the hell are they talking about? But yet, I mean, I guess the American people don't have much of a memory. Like I said, the people, I think I put it up in a post. I told everybody wear a mask. At the time, I said, it's a, because the virus is a very small particle. I said, I don't think they're going to do much good. I don't want to say they didn't do any good, because YouTube will take down my channel. But yeah, and none of them will still speak to me. Was I right or wrong? You tell me. I don't know. All right, that's it for the video. Let's get home and get to work.
They never told you, huh? What we built before they came and took it all. Listen. Back when Europe was still in the dark, we lit the stars. Timbuktu University, scholars writing from afar. Mali empire richer than they ever could dream. Mansa Musa dropped gold, made the world scream. Great Zimbabwe wall standing tall without mortar. Engineering so advanced, though they claim we never taught her. Kingdom of Congo, sophisticated trade routes. Benin City bronzes, the world stood in salute. Ashanti gold, the homie warriors fierce and bold. We had iron, we had medicine, we had stories told. Pyramids kissing heaven on before Rome stood. While they lived in caves and mud, we built neighborhoods of wood and gold. They never told you how advanced we were, how we mapped the stars, how we healed the sick for sure.
They never told you
what Africa built
before they stole it all, left us with guilt.
Empires of knowledge, rivers of gold.
They took the bodies, the culture, the soul.
They never told you
they buried the truth, turned kings into slaves in the name of their youth.
What we created,
what they destroyed, this pain in my heart I can't avoid.
They came across us, but brought chains and greed. Divided our kings, planted the evil seed. Berlin Conference 1884, they carved us like meat. Drew straight lines on the map, caused endless defeat. Stole the artifacts, put them in London and Paris. Spinning bronze is gone, now they call it theirs. Millions of bodies shipped across the sea. Middle Passage, horror mothers watching babies leave. They took our names, gave us numbers instead. Told our children we were worthless, filled their heads with dread. But we built mathematics, we built astronomy. While they were burning witches, we studied philosophy, yeah. Imagine cities of gold, imagine peace. Imagine knowledge flowing like the Nile.
Then imagine it all burn.
Imagine your whole history turned to dust. That's what they did to us.
They never told you what Africa built before they stole it all, left us with guilt.
Empires of knowledge, rivers of gold.
They took the bodies, the culture, the soul.
From the libraries of Alexandria they claim to the doggone people who knew Sirius by name. We had democracy in some villages long ago. Women ruled kingdoms, not just in the shadow. They stole the resources, still stealing today. Diamonds in Sierra Leone, blood in the clay. Congo's rubber, they cut off hands for the quota. King Leopold's ghost still killing us slowly. I'm in the review that phones that caused the wars, while our children die young, sleeping on dirt floors. They rewrote the books, made us the villains, but history screams truth from the graves of millions.
Wake up, this ain't just the past, it's the present too. They still extract, still control what we do. Neo-colonialism, wearing a suit and tie. IMF loans, debts that make our country cry. But our spirit never died, it lives in the beat, in the rhythm of drums marching through these streets. We rise from the ashes like great Zimbabwe stones. We claim our narrative, rebuild our thrones.
They never told you
what Africa built before they stole it all, left us with guilt.
Empires of knowledge, rivers of gold.
They took the bodies, the culture, the soul.
They never told you,
but now we speak
through the Lego bricks and the pain we keep.
Africa rising, hear the ancestors call.
We built it once,
we can build it all.
yeah.
They never told you,
But the Lego don't lie.
Africa was great. Africa, Africa is great. Africa,
You remember? Yeah. You remember? never told you, huh? What we built before they came and took it all. Listen. Back when Europe was still in the dark, we lit the stars. Timbuktu University, scholars writing from afar. Mali Empire, richer than they ever could dream. Mansa Musa dropped gold, made the world scream. Great Zimbabwe wall standing tall without mortar. Engineering so advanced, do they claim we never taught her? Kingdom of Congo, sophisticated trade routes. Benin City bronzes, the world stood in salute. Ashanti gold, the homie warriors fierce and bold. We had iron, we had medicine, we had stories told. Pyramids kissing heaven long before Rome stood. While they lived in caves and mud, we built neighborhoods of wood and gold. They never told you how advanced we were, how we mapped the stars, how we healed the sick for sure. They never told you what Africa built before they stole it all. Left us with guilt, empires and knowledge, rivers of gold. They took the bodies, the culture, the soul. They never told you they buried the truth, turned kings into slaves in the name of their youth. What we created, what they destroyed, this pain in my heart I can't avoid. They came with crosses but brought chains and greed. Divided our kings, planted the evil seed. Berlin Conference 1884, they carved us like meat. Drew straight lines on the map, caused endless defeat. Stole the artifacts, put them in London and Paris. Benin bronze is gone, now they call it theirs. Millions of bodies shipped across the sea. Middle Passage horror mothers watching babies leave. They took our names, gave us numbers instead. Told our children we were worthless, filled their heads with dread. But we built mathematics, we built astronomy. While they were burning witches, we studied philosophy. Imagine cities of gold, imagine peace, imagine knowledge flowing like the Nile. Then imagine it all burned. Imagine your whole history turned to dust. That's what they did to us. They never told you what Africa built before they stole it all. Left us with guilt, empires and knowledge, rivers of gold. They took the body, culture, the soul. From the libraries of Alexandria they claimed to the doggone people who knew Sirius by name. We had democracy in some villages long ago. Women ruled kingdoms, not just in the shadow. They stole the resources, still stealing today. Diamonds in Sierra Leone, blood in the clay. Congo's rubber, they cut off hands for the quota. King Leopold's ghost still killing us slowly. Our minerals fuel their phones, their cars, their wars. While our children die young, sleeping on dirt floors. They rewrote the books, made us the villains. But history screams truth from the graves of millions. Wake up! This ain't just the past, it's the present too. They still extract, still control what we do. Neo-colonialism, wearing a suit and tie. IMF loans, debts that make our countries cry. But our spirit never died, it lives in the beat, in the rhythm of drums marching through these streets. We rise from the ashes like great Zimbabwe stones. Reclaim our narrative, rebuild our thrones. They never told you what Africa built before they stole it all. Left us with guilt, empires of knowledge, rivers of gold. They took the bodies, the culture, the stuff. But now we speak through the Lego bricks and the pain we keep. Africa rising, hear the ancestors call. We built it once, we can build it all. They never told you, but the Lego don't lie. Africa was great. Africa is great.